Take it away.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the University of Chicago Town Hall. We are so excited to tell you guys about our program. We have our program director, our chairman, and one of our residents giving some presentations. We will have time for a short Q&A session. So throughout this entire town hall, if you have any questions, please enter them into the chat function, and we'll moderate some questions kind of towards the end. We will also have some breakout sessions that will be residents only at the end as well. So we'll also have more time for questions then as well. So without further ado, Dr. Shahab, you can take it away, and Dr. Ferris, if you'll share your screen.
Okay, ready? You guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Welcome everybody, and thanks for taking the time to join us. We wanted to call it a happy hour, but then we decided to be a little more decent here, so we'll do it at the end. What I want to share with you is a quick review of the program, and then Sarah will continue. Sarah Ferris, our program director, and then the residents will give you kind of a flavor of it. But I do think that the main thing you can learn from today is actually mingling with the residents and asking them the real deal, and to have the real questions that you are interested in knowing, and we'll get off the faculty and you'll be able to have some quality time. Anyway, so we'll go through a little bit of a history of the University of Chicago. The main asset we have, sustainable asset, is the faculty here. I think they make the program, and we try to choose the same kind of personalities with the faculty and the residents. And then Sarah will go through the residency programs, and the resident will give you the perspective. Next. So the University of Chicago was founded in '92. Another important thing happened then. The World Fair was in Chicago in 1893. And they were actually located geographically very close together in that picture you see in the background there, the Midway Plaisance and the Lake Shore right there on 58th Street. We're very well placed in the world as a university, very well regarded, with undergraduates, about 6,000, and 10,000 graduate students. This is the institution with the highest number of Nobel laureates in the entire world. Next. One of the Nobel laureates is Huggins, who was the chairman of urology in the 30-something 40s. This is also the cradle of the chain reaction formula. In the if you walk the campus, you'll see this statue, which kind of initially we hid it because the University of Chicago was not very proud of being the source of so much damage and disaster. But recently they realized that that was a real accomplishment academically, and they opened it up. And now when you walk around the campus, you'll be able to see all the markings of everything that happened in the University of Chicago on the ground. Next, please. So we have a few campuses now. The main one is the Hyde Park one, 811 bed hospital with 34 almost 1,000 admissions a year, and 24,000 outpatient and inpatient surgeries a year. And now the emergency room visits increased to 110 almost 1,000. This is because of the new trauma center that we have in the last couple of years. It's a level 1 trauma center, started from scratch. We didn't have a trauma center, just an ED. And very quickly it became the busiest in Chicago, and becoming one of the national penetrating trauma highest volume centers in the country. And all this started in January and then in May of 2018. Now we're going to move to the faculty, which again, I think we're all similar-minded people that are, number one, pursuing excellence in their career and their profession. Number two, are very mensch-like people. And mensch, to whoever doesn't know what it is a kind, compassionate person that always does the right thing and tries to help, you know, the humankind and doesn't put himself in front of everybody. And we play hard, we work hard, and we try to always, you know, provide the most excellent care we can to our patients. And without further ado, we'll start with Piyush Agrawal, who is one of 3 recent recruits. He's been a year with us now. He's directing the bladder cancer program. He basically came from, after residency at Case Western and MD Anderson for fellowship, he was the head of the bladder cancer branch at the NIH, and then we recruited him here a year ago. We have a high volume of bladder, and he's an outstanding squash player. The first thing he asked me when he came to, you know, interview here is, where do you guys play squash here? I didn't have a good answer because none of us did it before that. Next. Greg Bales has been here for a long, probably the longest time. He is our director of female and reconstruction, and he was the president of SUFU, his society before. And he's the one that does the long 9-hour cases where, you know, a full reconstruction of everything is happening together with plastics and other sections. You get to know him really, really well. And he's the best road cycler we have in the team. Next. Scott Egner is directing the urologic oncology in our group and prostate cancer program, and he's also the vice chair of urology. And he studied in Stanford, Northwestern, fellowship in Sloan Kettering, and then he's focusing on surgical and non-surgical management of prostate cancer, and he's a real thought leader in that field. His hobbies are travel, and I hope he joined us today because he is traveling right now too. And does medical missions often in underprivileged areas. And a few recent ones were in Gaza and in the West Bank in Israel. Next. Sarah is the program director. She's also directing the ambulatory service. Our clinic is very busy in urology, and she's running it with the team there. Trained in Michigan, then Vandy, then University of Iowa for fellowship. And she does female and reconstructive surgery. And she was a state-level swimmer in the past, and maybe she'll get back to it soon. We're trying to do triathlon together, but I think it'll take time. And she's also a world explorer going around the world and enjoying. Next. Mohan Gundedi came to us originally from India, then in Great Ormond Street in England, did his pediatric urology training, which is kind of the world mecca for pediatric urology, and then joined us here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's 12 years now. And he's running the whole pediatric program. He's really unique in regard to implementing robotic surgery in infants. You know, 6-month-old patients are under this big Da Vinci robot. And you know, there were days when he came 10, 12 years ago where Dr. Zagaya was, you know, helping him build it up, and was taking naps on the floor in the OR because he was so sick, but he wanted to, you know, complete the case with him. And initially, you know, these cases were up to 8 hours, but now it's like pristine, beautiful cases. He does a lot of CME activities, teaching a lot of urologists, pediatric urologists, how to do robotic surgery, and he came into triathlons recently, and he's also does medical missions mainly in India. Next. And Parth Moody is a fresh new recruit that joined us this week. He studied in Northwestern, then did his residency in Robert Wood Johnson, New Jersey, and then did his fellowship in Michigan. And he's going to be doing research and clinical management of bladder cancer. He also has a lot of interest in ethics and population-based studies. And soccer is his thing, and he likes podcasts. So welcome, Parth. And Luke joined us a month ago from Canada. He did all his training there, and then came here to be our stone disease director and urology after working at the University of Toronto for a while. And he also is a world traveler. He got caught in the Galapagos when the pandemic started. Barely made it here, but did. And then recently, again, there was kind of an issue with the visas from Canada, but you know, Trump let him in. Next. And Greg Zagaya is also a long-term faculty member, and he's co-directing the prostate cancer program. He's probably the most experienced robotic prostate cancer surgeon in Illinois. He also does brachytherapy, and his hobbies are, I'd say, winery tours #1, and then, you know, a little bit of scuba diving and cycling. Next. I trained in Israel first, and then I did a fellowship in WashU in St. Louis, and I focused on minimally invasive surgery, robotics. Now I'm starting with high-intensity focused ultrasound for prostate, and endurance sports is what I focus on. Okay, so these are the people. We recruited everybody we wanted, you know, this year, except for fertility and men's health, which is in the works. Now it's frozen a little bit because of COVID, but we're hoping that, you know, in the next 2 years, it's going to happen. We've already seen a few of the candidates just before COVID, but, you know, it's on hold right now. And we have fellows of the Society of Urologic Oncology and the Society of Urology. And we're kind of alternating, you know, seeing what the manpower will be with residents and tweaking it accordingly. And then we have a team of 5 mid-levels. Actually, Joanna is just being, she actually left this month, and we're recruiting somebody to replace her to work with the bladder cancer team. But Matt and Ellie and Megan and Olivia are here. Each one has a niche. He or she works with 2 providers, except for Ellie, who is working with the residents on the floor. And that's a new thing because I resisted forever to have somebody on the floor, and I said the residents need to be in the trenches. But eventually I grew old enough to go with the times, and we have somebody now. Next. Clinical volume is high, a lot of cancer, reconstruction, pediatric, and stone disease. And we're the leaders in the area with regard to the number of robotic cases. There are 7 robotic systems at the University of Chicago and a single port system, which we just got 2 months ago. And for us, it's about 2,500 surgical cases a year and about 15,000 clinic appointments a year between all the offsites that we have and the main campus. Next. And this year we went, we were 45, then 34, then 22 in the US News and World Report, and we're very proud of it. And we're affiliated to the North Shore group, who are mostly people that did fellowships and decided to go kind of community-based, always affiliated with the institution. They were affiliated with Northwestern about 12 years ago, 10 years ago, but now they're affiliated with us. They give the residents a wonderful experience in community-based practice, and we're very happy to have this very good collaboration with them. The research is actually also wonderful. Whoever is interested, they have a lot of funding for that. And they have 5 hospitals, 80,000 cases a year total between them, a lot of ED visits, 1,200 inpatient beds, and as said, a lot of research funding, more than we do, actually. And they cover all aspects of urology. The balance is a little more towards the community-based cases, but they doing bladders, doing kidneys, radicals, everything that we do here. Okay, I'll stay here for questions later, but now let's go with Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Ferris. I'm the new Residency Program Director, and I'm going to just talk a little bit about our program, and then I'm a proud Chicagoan, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. So some of our strengths, as Dr. Shalev pointed out, we cover all aspects of urology over 3 fantastic campuses, and we'll go over those more, but I think that's a huge strength, and the residents really love all 3 of our rotations, and I think we're very lucky to have the affiliations that we have. Our residents become extremely proficient in management of the simplest to most complex urologic cases. You're going to become fantastic robot surgeons, as Dr. Shalev and Zagaya and Gundetti and Egner will take you through all of those. Our residents, and I'll go through this as well, are highly competitive for fellowships or joining a practice, and I'm proud to say that they essentially all get their first choices and are doing fantastic in their careers. And we do all of this in an incredibly collegial, respectful, and fun environment. I'm so proud of our residents and the way that they help each other out and the way that they get along, and I know they'll talk more about that as well. So our goals correlate with our strengths. We really do provide some of the best clinical care that you can possibly get, and in the process and through doing that and through our sensational faculty group that Dr. Shalev has put together, we train some of the most capable and compassionate urologic surgeons. We want to train people who are going to be leaders in the field of urology and who are interested in pursuing discoveries and new knowledge. And we have some wonderful affiliations within University of Chicago, like a comprehensive prostate cancer clinic, for example, and Dr. Cohen team with our nephrology group really have an awesome stone clinic and a stone conference as well. So we have opportunities for other areas of research and interest through collaborations with other areas within the hospital. And as Dr. Shalev said, this is very much a group that's a work hard, play hard group. So you enjoy the journey, you're gonna work really hard, and but also Chicago's a great city and there's a lot to do here. So you're gonna play hard too. So what is important to us when we're looking at residents? I had to include this because Dr. Shalev says it, fire in your belly. So we want you to be hungry and we want you to, have desire for self-improvement and wanting to learn and to work hard and be excited. As he likes to say, when you're here, this is your opportunity and your chance to really develop as a great urologic surgeon and as a person. And we believe that all of that's important and we need the fire in the belly to help you achieve the best that you can be. Being a team player is very important. Our residents often at the end of the day, they're all done with whatever it is they're doing and they're like, oh, I gotta go. I'm like, hey, have a good night. And they're like, no, I'm gonna go touch base with the floor. I gotta see if the person who's on call needs any help with consults and figuring things out. So they truly are a team player. And I think that that's an incredible environment to be in and very unique to our program. You are gonna work with each other, and so our teaching is important and an interest in teaching is important because our senior residents are working on teaching our junior residents, and then also you're going to be working with med students, and they're some of the best and brightest, and it's a real opportunity to develop your teaching skills. Diversity is very important. You can probably tell from our group of residents and our faculty, we have a very diverse group of people here, which is not always seen, and I'm very proud of our faculty and our residents. We really want you to be open-minded and teachable as well, because in order for you to achieve your full potential, part of it's being open to learning new things and feedback so that you can grow and progress. So we are invested in your long-term development as compassionate clinicians, and I am one of the things I think is an incredible strength of this program is the autonomy that you get. So our residents are fantastic at practicing independently and being able to make decisions independently, both within clinic and clinical decisions, but also operatively. We get just wonderful feedback from people when they go into fellowships about how independent our residents are and how good their technical skills are. So we really work to help to progress people through cases and develop them as surgeons, that when you leave here, you're going to be as good of a surgeon as you can possibly be. And we also want to help you obtain your career goals as well. So I'm a new program director, and I really want to have one of the best programs possible. This is a great place, and I hope I can just keep developing it. So I really value our resident feedback and input, and I'm very open to new ideas and flexible with changes within the program. So as Dr. Shell have mentioned, the residents really wanted a floor PA to help with work, and so we were able to hire that to assist them to get them more in the operating room. We're also working on a new mentorship model and potentially some changes to our M&M format to make it more educational as we go through. So I really value the residents' feedback and helping to develop and make changes. Along those lines, you know, I very much respect our residents' autonomy, and so every person learns differently. And I really want to work with you to come up with the best educational system for you so that you can obtain your full potential. And as well as we talk about work hard, but there's a play hard piece of this too. So in order to be a good surgeon and a good compassionate clinician and achieve all you can, your well-being is incredibly important to this. And so having time outside of the hospital and making time for what you need and for your family, and making sure that you are taken care of as the whole person is incredibly important to me. And we will do everything we can to try to keep you happy and healthy along this journey. So a little bit more about our program specifically. So University of Chicago is our main hospital and is located in Hyde Park, which is about 7 miles south of our downtown. And we have our 3 hospitals that we mentioned. So our main site also has Comer, which is our children's hospital. And then we have a North Shore rotation that Dr. Shalav mentioned, which is our private practice rotation. And this is pretty much just an operative rotation, no clinics. You're going to get a great operative experience. And then we have our Dressy Brown VA as well, which I always think is hugely beneficial to any program because of the autonomy that's provided with that. I think it's also a really great experience because there's actually Northwestern residents and attendings that you will work with there. So between these 3 campuses, you're going to get you're going to learn very different approaches to how people do surgeries, how they think about things clinically. And I think that that's a huge benefit to this program. So our rotations, your PGY 1 year is 4 months, and that's at the urology main campus with a month of urology at the Dressy Brown VA. And then you'll have 6 months of general surgery, including a month of trauma and SICU, and then a month of vacation. Our PGY 2 year is mainly focused on your adult urology, though you'll have some exposure to pediatric urology as well, and that's on our main campus. And we'll be working on your endoscopic surgery, so TURBTs, ureteroscopy, and then basic laparoscopic, and with the robotic and open procedures as well. Our PGY 3 year is a great experience. You have 4 months at our main campus, 4 months at the VA, and then 4 months on our North Shore rotation. And during that year, you're going to focus more on advanced surgical procedures and increased independence in patient care. Our fourth year, you'll have 4 months of a mentorship model with Dr. Gandetti, focusing on pediatrics, and then 4 months again of adult urology and 4 months at our VA hospital. And this is where you're going to be doing more advanced robotic and laparoscopic surgeries and getting more into our bigger open surgeries. Our PGY 5 year is our chief year. That's going to be adult urology for 8 months, and then 4 months at our North Shore campus. And this is where you're really going to hone your surgical skills for the most complex urologic procedures, and you are running our service and overseeing all aspects of our urology service. So this is where you really are developing into an independent clinician and getting ready for either fellowship or private practice. So I'm incredibly proud of our chief residents. This past year, all 3 of our chiefs ended up doing fellowships, and one was in men's health and infertility, and that was here at Northwestern. Dr. Mahmood is going to be at Indiana for urologic oncology, and Dr. Riedinger is doing minimally invasive surgery at USC. The year prior to that, Dr. Adamski is in private practice with Uro Partners and was able to stay in our Chicago area. Dr. Boyson did a GRS fellowship at Duke and is now on faculty at Brigham and Women. And Dr. Rodriguez did a urologic oncology fellowship at Oklahoma and is in California now. And then prior to that, Andy Cohen did another GERS fellowship, and he's at Hopkins. Dr. Nottingham did an endourology fellowship at Indiana and is on faculty at WashU. And Vig went to Mayo Clinic for his fellowship and is now practicing at Iowa. So there's a few more examples of this, but we're very proud of our residents and where they've come. We've had multiple doing the FPMRS fellowships and are now on faculty as well, one at University of Maryland and one at Einstein Fox Chase. So just to wrap up, I am a very proud Chicagoan. I grew up outside of Chicago, and you know, totally not biased, but I think this is one of the greatest cities in the world. So for anyone who's ever seen Ferris Bueller, I was actually born Froman was my maiden name, and I feel like it was destiny for me to do a reconstructive fellowship and come back to Chicago to be the sausage queen of Chicago. And weirdly enough, it just so happens I actually married a Ferris as well. So I feel like it just came full circle. So a tiny bit about Chicago, there's a lot to say, but we have over 200 theaters. We actually have 5 theaters who won the Regional Theater Tony Award. So we're the most recognized city in the country by this prestigious live theater award. We have over 50 museums, and the Art Institute is one of my favorite. And that's actually been one of the only museums to be in the top museums on TripAdvisor, and it has the most extensive Impressionist collection outside of France. Bon Appetit named us the Restaurant City of the Year in 2017, and we have 22 Michelin-starred restaurants. And then, of course, we have our beautiful 31 miles of lakefront with our lakefront path, which I have bumped into Dr. Shelhove multiple times with him either biking or running. And it's a great place to have fun and go boating or whatever you like to do. We have 77 neighborhoods and 580 parks. We're the birthplace of modern architecture. And then we also have some of the best sketch comedy in the world. So with our Second City alums like Tina Fey and Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Bill Murray, Chris Farley, Steve Carell, Stephen Colbert, John Candy, Jim Belushi, John Belushi, they're all Chicago people who came here to do their comedy. So there's really something for everyone. And I think one of the greatest things is you can do your residency here and get great training, and then basically a cab ride away or Uber ride away, you ever want to go, there's all of this at your fingertips, which I think is a really unique aspect to training. And then we also have 2 major airports, and I think our residents will talk a little bit about it, but our residents are incredible world travelers, and it's really just a hop on a flight away. So without further ado, I'm going to turn you over to our residents, but I hope you really consider our program, and thank you guys for coming and spending some time with us today to learn about our program.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Ferris. We are now going to hear from Dr. Judge, who's going to give us a resident perspective.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Clark Judge. I'm one of the PGY4s, and I want to give you a quick rundown on the residency program from a resident's perspective here. So call schedule is something that matters a lot to residents, obviously, and it's not always super apparent. So what is it like when you're at the main hospital as a junior resident, and this is for your whole PGY2 year and 4 months of the PGY3 year, you do an average of Q4 call. You have 2 weekends off per month on average, and you always have a senior backup, meaning that there's senior call. We have 2 PGY5s or chiefs and 1 senior resident, so they average for a Q3 call, and they, if you do the math, have an average of 2 to 3 golden weekends per month, and their role is to basically answer questions, be your sounding board, and then they come into the hospital when they're needed for advanced procedures or when you go to the operating room. At North Shore Hospital, moonlighters cover the weekends, which is very nice. So call is only split up between the 2 residents who rotate there on Monday through Thursday nights. So that's 2 calls per week or about 8 calls per month. At the VA, we go there with Northwestern residents, and there's 3 juniors. And so it's an average of Q3 call. And they're essentially, when you work a weekend, you work the whole weekend. So you have a lot of weekends off, and it might sound scary for Q3 and like black weekends, except at the VA, it's not that busy. So it's the easiest junior call and maybe the best for your social life. And then when you're a senior at the VA, you take an average of Q2 call, which again can sound scary because that's every other day. But given the kind of just patient load there, certainly the nighttime patient load is so low that it's the easiest senior call. Moonlighting. So this is at North Shore, and this is the reason that you don't work weekends when you are on rotation there, is because us and some of the Northwestern residents cover the weekends. So you can start doing it in your PGY4 year. They're in 12-hour shifts, but often you'll do a 24-hour shift. You need to have your step 3 done, and you need to have a permanent Illinois license, but that's not that hard to do. The other nice thing is that you can work holidays there for pay and a half, which has the added benefit that the on-service residents get the holidays and weekends off there. And so that is a good thing for sure. Where are we from? So this is a map of the United States, as you can see. The majority of our residents, and these stars represent medical schools where you went. So the majority of our residents are from the Midwest, as you would expect. But a few of us went to school in the Northeast. We've got 1 from Oklahoma, 1 from Seattle, a couple from California and Houston. So we're kind of from all over, and it's really more, I would say, self-selected that way. It's certainly not a decision to only have Midwest folks. Now a slideshow of things we do for fun. We like to bike. This is some of our attendings on a road that's either in Illinois, Indiana, or Iowa. Hard to tell. We like to bike even when it's hot. This is our second newest attending, but he's pretty new, Dr. Reynolds with Dr. Gandetti and Dr. Shalhov, and this is pretty recent. We like to run. This is the Chicago Half Marathon in 2019, I believe, and this is right afterwards, actually at Dr. Shalhov's apartment building. We like to play music. This is, well, I'll let the clip run. So that's JP on the bass there. It's pretty impressive. This is a picture of after the show. That's Joel, who's not in the band, but he got pretty close to them for that picture, which was nice. We like to eat. Over on the right here, we have a group of it's kind of like an unofficial women in urology group that involves our scheduler, our residents, MAs, NPs, And they go out to dinner about once a month and just kind of, well, talk about whatever. They could talk about urology if they wanted. And then we've got some more residents, enjoying some food. We like to travel. This is Josh and Audrey on the right in Costa Rica, I believe, in a rare dual vacation for residents, and they got to leave the country. And then this over here is when this class of residents who are now seniors were PGY2s, and they went to Milwaukee, and they were having a great time. We like to dress up. So this is at graduation. I believe this is 2018. We've got some more fancy pictures here. Over on the left, we've got Tanya, who's one of our PGY4s, with Vig, who is recently graduated. And then, I'm blanking on the name here. Tanya, what's this?
Oh, Joe Harris.
And Joe Pariser, who's at Minnesota now. We like to dress up. This is me and my wife. We have costumes. There's other residents with costumes, I promise. We like to dress down. These are some of our residents before Lollapalooza and then after Lollapalooza, or during, I guess. Pose for photos. Over here on the right is our new interns with Joel. As you can see, Joel's pretty tall. We have kids. This is one of my favorite photos there. So on the left, we have Jake, who was a chief last year, and he had a baby girl, Sloan, in February. This is Steve, who's now PGY3 in the middle. He had a baby boy, Sam, also in February. And then we've got JP on the right with little Izzy enjoying some pizza. And just so that you know, this Chicago pizza is not only delicious, but nutritious, because look at how well she's growing. We like to act like kids. This is me. This is, I think, in between lectures at a hotel conference. And then lastly, we enjoy each other. So this is a picture at one of our graduations at a yacht club in Chicago. It was a very nice affair. All right, I will stop sharing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Clark. I do believe we have a couple of questions, so we'll do the questions first. I'll direct them to some of our attendings. And then we will have some time for our breakout groups, which is going to be residents only with potential applicants. And that will be another time to ask some questions as well to our residents one-on-one. So the first question I have, I will direct to Dr. Agarwal, who's one of our urologic oncologists who specializes in bladder cancer. So Dr. Agarwal, how do the faculty and residents interact, and do they have a good rapport?
So, prior to COVID, when I got here, I remember first few weeks, after a couple busy weeks of operating, we went out and had some nice drinks, and you guys took me to a place on campus where the undergrads hang out. It was pretty cool. And I think, since COVID, we've been trying, a lot of virtual happy hours. So we've done some virtual happy hours on Fridays to kind of check in with everybody. And I think, to get back to Dr. Sheloff's point, we've all been we're a family. We understand we all work together. We're our work family. And we try to keep everybody sane. I rely on the residents to keep me sane throughout work. I have complicated patients. I'm no stranger to having patients with complications, and I rely on the residents for taking care of my patients and helping them through their care in the hospital and keeping me sane at the same time. So, I think residents are really comfortable calling and asking for help. They're really comfortable in asking faculty to cover cases. Nobody's, I think, afraid of calling people. It's not a malignant program. It's not a malignant place. And I feel on a good basis with everybody. I think everybody's honest with each other, and that's communication is a big part of it. But I think everybody is like-minded, has a pretty easygoing personality. And I think it's very evident in the interview process. And just, even nowadays in COVID, we interview people through Zoom. It's very evident. You can tell right off the bat if kind of personalities, mesh or not. And I would say that the common theme for all the residents and all the faculty is just very easygoing, approachable type of people in our department.
Excellent. Thank you so much. On a similar note, for Dr. Zagaya, a question about intraoperative faculty and resident interactions. How do you feel like the residents and faculty interact, and how do you see them grow in the operating room?
Yeah, I mean, I can speak specifically in my operating room, but I think it's a period of growth. Obviously, when you're a junior resident, you're kind of learning the anatomy, learning the procedure in general. But as you adapt, you learn to do some of the robotic procedures. So you'll often be in the console, in your PGY2 and PGY3 year, and hopefully by the end of the residency, you will have gained all the skills necessary to do robotic procedures. We are obviously a center of excellence, and we often get some of the most complex cases, and you'll have an opportunity to learn some of those techniques to allow you to potentially take care of those patients as well at the end of the day.
Awesome. Thanks so much. This question is probably good for Dr. Ferris. What changes do you foresee happening in the program in the next few years?
So we are phasing out our research year. So one of the big things we're going to have to figure out is how to integrate research into our 5-year program and do that as effectively as possible. So that's one thing that we're going to have to adapt to and change, and make sure that there's some protected research time still for our residents. And I really also, especially this year, want to work on a mentorship model. So that's one of the things that we started to talk about with the residents, and I think I've come up with an idea that I actually need to run by them at our next meeting to make sure that they think that it'll work for them, so that we can start implementing that. And another thought is, we generally work as a big service, and so based on resident feedback, we're considering starting to do more of a mini mentorship model. So we have those 4 months with Dr. Gandetti, and one of the thoughts is to make some more focused times where you have more specific rotations with dedicated attending, and you'll spend time a little bit more focused in the clinic and operating room with them to really delve deeply into a subject matter. And along those lines, a goal of mine is to try to get the PGY2s a little bit more involved in pediatric urology. So you have some experience your second year, but I think it'd be great to get more experience early on to see if it's something you'd want to pursue and do for a fellowship and career choice. So those are just a few of the things that we're working on.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Dr. Ferris. For the sake of time, I think we will start our breakout rooms. At this point, again, it'll be resident only. So I want to thank all of our excellent attendings for being here. Many of our medical students probably don't know who our attendings are, besides from the PowerPoint slide.
Just a second.
Oh,
Tanya, I want to really first cheers. Thank you for setting it up, you and Clark. Great job, and I appreciate your hard work. And I think this is a wonderful thing that will allow the candidates to actually get exposure to you and enjoy the rest of the evening.
excellent. Thanks so much. And again, I see Dr. Zagaya, Dr. Agarwal, Dr. Modi, Dr. Bales, Dr. Reynolds, Dr. Egner is here. There's probably more that aren't showing up on my screen. So thank you to all of our attendings for being here and showing your support. You guys always have our back, which is really, really nice. So goodbye to our attending.